Hello and welcome to the University of New South Wales. My name is Daniel Mansfield.
I'm Jonathan Kress.
And we are from the School of Mathematics and Statistics, and we're here to tell you about Mathematics 1A and High Mathematics 1A.
So High Mathematics 1A and Mathematics 1A basically have the same syllabus, don't they? So the whether you just which one you want to do is really more about how much you love maths and where you're at in your what trajectory you want.
Yeah, one of the myths I think is that if you choose Math 1A, then your kind of options will be limited down the course, or Math 1A, Higher Math 1A is a prerequisite for something else. It's not true. None of it is true. The university considers these courses the same, and it's really just how much math do you want to learn, which should decide the courses. Of course,
we have some recommendations based on your HSC mark. Yeah, so most of you have done HSC in New South Wales, and if you did Extension 1 and 2 together and got 176 or more, you probably should be doing the higher course. And if you just did Extension 1, you can still do the higher course, but we would recommend there a mark of 145 plus out of 150, so you should have done really well in that.
Yeah, maybe we can talk about scaling as well, because that's one of the other myths.
Oh, yes.
No one knows what scaling is going to happen in the course. I mean, we decide the scaling, and even we don't know how it's going to go.
Well, there's not much scaling, because what happens essentially is that Math 1131 sets the standard, and then the students doing for the pass level essentially, and then the students doing the higher course have got some extra questions, different harder questions in the exam, and we sort of moderate the marks on those so that those students are not disadvantaged by attempting the harder questions. Yeah.
So the idea is that if you're doing the higher course, you'll have an opportunity to show how good you are at math by doing these really advanced questions. So that's really the only difference.
But if you're thinking about whether or not one is better for your WAM, don't think that way. If you want to do the higher course because you like it, do the higher course, and if you have the marks essentially, yeah.
So we've talked about 1131, 1141. Let's talk about this course pack.
Okay.
So you can go to the UNSW bookshop and buy the course pack. You can also obtain these as PDFs through the course website on Moodle. The first thing you'll find is the course outline. The course outline contains everything we're telling you here and more in greater detail, just in written form. So loads of valuable information there about assessments and when things happen, administrative details like that. This marvelous yellow book is the Algebra Notes. It contains everything covered in lectures and tutorials. It contains the material for the course, and it contains no more than the material in the course. If you get a textbook on algebra, it'll cover some things in the course and some things not. This is exactly what is in the course, so I thoroughly recommend you read the course notes. Whether you buy them or not is another thing. The calculus notes are also in here, so the course covers both algebra and calculus as kind of separate things, both bundled into the same course. So you'll have algebra tutorials and calculus tutorials, algebra lectures and calculus lectures. But it's all part of Math 1A or Higher Math 1A. You have the past exams. Don't worry about the past exams till after.
This is past exams with solutions.
Yeah, well, great with solutions. But the exams come at the end of the course. And the Maple notes. Should we talk about Maple? Maple's kind of important.
Okay, well, Maple is a computer algebra package. Essentially, every calculation you might do in the future will be using a computer. Right? And there's lots of different computer packages you might be using, but Maple is a good one that goes with this course because it can do lots of symbolic stuff. It can do all the calculations you might want to do. And essentially, you'll be learning how to use this, getting started in that, and it's going to stand you in good stead for when you need to learn some other software or use a computer with mathematics in the future. Yeah. I mean, what employers really want and the world needs is people who understand mathematics and then can implement it on a computer, essentially.
And that might be a bit new as well, because in school you've been told how to understand mathematics, and you understand it very well, and you can present that information very well, but now we're going to start teaching you how to do it with a computer through this language called Maple. So that's really important skill that we emphasize in this course. Cool. And the course structure we have here. So
lectures, there's 4 lectures a week, or 2 2-hour blocks, an algebra calculus and algebra calculus, and they start in week 1. Notice they start in week 1, so you've really got to know where that is at the beginning of week 1. So they run from weeks 1 to 12. There's a break in the middle here. It's the mid-semester break. And then we have tutorials. the tutorials come in two flavors, classroom and online, and they essentially start in week 2, or there's a little bit online in week 1 just to get you sort of oriented. In it's this classroom tutorial. This is called tutorial 2 in your timetable. It's in the first half of the week. It's not tutorial 1. We'll talk about that in a minute. This starts with a calculus tutorial, classroom tutorial, then alternates algebra, calculus throughout the semester. And in the same week as you have a calculus classroom tutorial, you'll have an algebra online tutorial. So that's what we have here, and they alternate also.
Yeah. So your classroom tutorial appears as TU2 in your timetable. The online tutorial will be due at the end of the week. So in this case, Sunday at 11:59 p.m. You'll have to have that completed by. Good idea to have it completed before then, because you don't want to be hard pressed to finish it within an hour, along with everyone else.
Yes. And this also contains some maple. So it says algebra, but it's algebra and some use of maple.
Sprinkling
well.
of maple,
yes.
as with calculus.
Yeah.
Good. There's also tests, so there'll be a few tests. Altogether, there's a test 1 in week 6 and a test 2 in week 11. This test will have a algebra and calculus component to it, and this test will have an algebra and calculus component to it. And these will appear in your timetable under the TU1, but it only appears in week 6, 7, 11 and 12.
This one here marked L for lab, this is actually really part of these online tutorials here. So this it will get you into the lab in week 10 to redo some of the questions that you've seen along here. Mostly the maple ones, because this has got in the lab we've got a computer, and really we want you to do the maths on the computer in that test. How much are these worth in the assessment?
Okay, so all up. Oh, it's in the yes. Let's check the information book, Jonathan.
I always forget this. There's lots of courses, and I just tend to forget this information.
Okay. I remember. So
you remember? Hang on.
So the actual test component that you do in TU1, that constitutes 20%.
20%. It says here in the course outline on page 8. It says 20%.
Yes. Good. This online stuff, so this L test as well as all this stuff up here, that constitutes
20%. 20%.
And the final exam,
60. Yeah. And exactly the way all that's put together is sort of described in the pages following. Exactly with that.
Yeah. Good. What else?
Help. Yes, it's good to get help. I mean, I think hopefully you'll enjoy the course, and the lectures and tutors, will be everything you need, but probably along the way you'll need some help.
Yeah, and if you do, there's lots of different ways you can get help. So one of them we might start with is the drop-in centre. That's the best place to go. So there's this room on level 3 with grad students in it, and you can just turn up and ask them questions. There's no booking, there's no preparation. You can just cruise in and say, I'm having trouble understanding whatever it is, and show them what you've done, and they can help you through it.
So there's also the forum on Moodle. Similar kind of thing. It's sort of a drop-in thing. You just actually that doesn't have any opening hours.
It's always open.
But we don't guarantee to answer at 3 a.m. But some other student might, because the forum is a place basically for conversations. You can ask questions, and students may answer, and some staff may answer, and that's a good place to get help as well. Yeah.
So feel free to ask questions there. Feel free to discuss answers or answer yourselves. There will be staff on those forums answering as well. But it's really great when students actually get up there and answer a question. I really like seeing that, because those students are really kind of learning, and they've learned to the point where they can actually answer something. It's really valuable. So I would encourage you, if you are really into your math, to actually get in there and start interacting and with mathematics in this way.
You can post anonymously in the forum. So if you're a little bit, not quite sure, you want to question's got a silly question. There's no such thing as a silly question, and when you post it, there'll be 20 other students who are thinking, "Oh, thank God he asked that." Post in the forum. There's also staff consultation hours. There'll be a roster posted on Moodle sometime maybe week 2 or 3 that tells you when you can go and see individual staff members for help.
So there'll be a list of everyone who teaches mathematics in this department, where they are, and when you can come see them. And it's a similar style to the drop-in centre. You can just turn up, no bookings necessary. It's a really good idea to have have attempted the problems before you cruise into Jonathan's office and say, "Hey, Jonathan, I don't get what's going on here," because for me, it's really helpful because I can see what you do understand and what you don't, and that's really going to help me to answer your question and amend your understanding.
More useful than
rather than just saying, "Oh, well, allow me to re-lecture you on this material." No, it's much better if I can see what you understand and just give you those little bits that help you complete your understanding.
And of course, you might need some administrative help or advice, just general advice. The Student Services Office, Marky is there. Marky Lugton, she's in room 3073 in the Red Centre.
So that's
3072, sorry.
That's level 3,
Yeah.
and then the room number is 3073.
3072.
I'm
in 3073. Yes. So come to me for help and advice if you want to. If you encounter any problems, the sooner you come to see me or Marky, the better. Really, don't leave it to the end of the semester. Come and see us first of all. Yeah.
But most of you will have a very pleasant journey through the world of Mathematics 1A or Higher Mathematics 1A.
Yeah.
And we'll see you during that journey.
Yeah,
I'm
so
sure.
we're both algebra lecturers in this course,
Yes.
so you might be lucky enough or unlucky enough to have us. We'll see how it goes.
And we'll do some video, some live streams before these class tests here and here, as well as something special for you before the final exam as well. So that'll be another time when you'll see us if you're not in our algebra classes.
Okay, I think they're ready. I think they're all set and ready to go now.
Great, excellent.
All right.
Good luck.